But then I'm just going to share my screen with you all. And oh, what's it doing to me today? Okay, all right. Okay, sorry, it came up with a slightly different prompt than it normally does, but hopefully it's okay there. Good. And we're going to look at a variety of defense problems this evening. Um, some are fairly straightforward, some are to do with discarding, some are other aspects of defense. And let's have a start with this one here. And we're going to look at this from East's point of view. This one is relatively straightforward, but some people may go wrong on it. So let's suppose you're defending against 3 no trump. South opened a weak no trump, 12 to 14, and North raised to 3 no trump. And your partner leads the King of Hearts. And you can see that that looks like a pretty good lead because Declarer's just got the ace in dummy, and that King of Hearts should be the top of a sequence, King, Queen, Jack, or something like that. So Declarer plays low on the first card. You have nothing to encourage your partner with, so you just play the 2. But he then plays another heart, knocking out the ace. And Declarer now starts cashing clubs. And actually, Declarer's going to cash a number of club tricks, and you're going to have to find some discards. So you can follow to the first 2 clubs, but on the next club, you're going to have to start discarding. And I hope you can see that the suits you need to think about keeping are the King of Spades. You need to keep that protected so that it could make a trick. And you also want to keep the 7 of Hearts, because if you do get in, you want to lead a heart back to your partner's suit. So we'll just start by discarding spades. And if they play another club, I can safely discard a diamond here. I've got my Queen, Jack 10, that's protected there. So I don't have any particular problems here. It's just a matter of discarding the right things. And now Declarer plays a diamond, takes the ace, and he leads the Queen of Spades. And actually, if I just bring up the 4 hands at this point, you can see that Declarer has taken 7 tricks so far, and he can make 2 more now with the Ace of Spades and the King of Diamonds. But if he's greedy, if he tries perhaps for an overtrick by finessing, then you can win the King of Spades, and you will now switch back to a heart, and your partner, if they've kept the right things, will be able to defeat the contract. So a relatively simple one, just involved thinking about what discards you needed to make and what you needed to hang on to. But basically keeping a card in your partner's long suit, a heart, and trying to protect your honors. So that was a relatively straightforward example. Let's have a look at another one here. Again, it's gone 1 no trump, 3 no trump. And your partner here leads the Queen of Spades, which looks like it ought to be top of a sequence of Queen, Jack 10 or something like that. And Declarer plays low from dummy. And here you may as well give an encouraging signal, high to encourage, play the 7 as you have the king. Your partner, will treat that as an encouraging signal. And your partner carries on with a spade. Here it plays a low spade because he can see the ace of spades is going to fall. And you come to your first decision point about what to play here. And it may seem obvious to you to play a low spade, but if you do, you will have blocked the suit. Your partner's got a sequence headed by the queen, and so when that ace is played, it's very important for you to unblock. And in fact, if I click here on the GIB button, it's saying you can defeat the contract, but you must throw your King of Spades away. So if you get that right, let's suppose Declarer now turns their attention to clubs, and they're going to actually play 4 rounds of clubs, and you're going to have to find some discards. So we can follow to the first one, play the 8, but when they play the next club and then 2 more rounds, we're going to have to find 3 discards. And this is a good moment to think about what you're going to discard. And in fact, that is the subject of the first poll of the evening. When Declara plays these next clubs, what are you going to discard? Are you going to discard hearts or diamonds, or maybe a spade and a heart and a diamond, or what combination do you think you should discard? Think about it now, and here comes that poll. And the question is, what are you going to discard on the next 3 club tricks? Let's have a look at what you've put. And there's a wide variety of responses. The most popular responses were 3 hearts was 30%, 2 hearts and 1 diamond was 30%, 3 diamonds 15%, 1 heart and 2 diamonds, and 1 person went for a spade and 2 diamonds. So let's switch back and see what we think. Well, I think I want to keep my spade, because if I do get in, I want to lead a spade back to my partner. They started with a sequence. So I'm not going to discard a spade. I'm just going to discard red cards here. And although you have a nice heart holding, it's very unlikely that Declara is going to try to make many tricks in hearts. Because your hearts are so strong, it's very likely that Declara is going to make tricks, first of all in clubs and then in diamonds. So the correct answer here is that you should discard your hearts and keep your 4 diamonds, keeping length with dummy. And if you play that way, you will instead just discard hearts, discard 3 hearts, and then when Declara plays diamonds, let's just bring up the hands at this point. Declara can take 3 diamonds, but because you've kept your 4 diamonds, you will prevent him making an extra trick there. So if he does play another diamond, you of course will win that. And now you can defeat the contract by cashing the ace of hearts and then crossing to your partner's spades. And played that way, you can defeat the contract. So although those hearts are nice and you sort of want to hang on to them, you should realize that exactly because your hearts are so good, it means Declara probably isn't going to play hearts. He's probably got strength in diamonds and clubs rather than in hearts. Even if South's holding in hearts was slightly better, I just made a slight variation of this hand, giving South a better heart holding, about the best he could be expected to have here. He's not going to play hearts. He's unlikely to play hearts because he's missing the ace queen 10. He's very weak. So you do much better there to keep your 4 diamonds. If you look at it from Declara's point of view, you can see Declara's got 4 club tricks they can take, 1 spade, and they can take 3 or 4 diamonds. If the diamonds divide evenly, they could take all 4 diamonds, but as you see, they divide 2-4, but they will take all 4 diamonds if you discard 1. So this was an example of a hand where you should keep length with dummy. Anytime you have a 4-card holding in a suit, and at least you have at least 1 highish card, hang on to that suit while there's still 4 cards in dummy. Let's try another one. This time the bidding has gone one spade, North bid two diamonds. You overcalled two hearts. South bid three spades, and the opponents ended up in four spades. And your partner here leads the six of hearts. Declarer plays low, and you could play anything you like here to win this trick. Strictly speaking, the right card to play is the 10. Third hand plays as high as necessary. With the queen trapped in dummy, you can play the 10. Let's suppose you now play the ace, and this time your partner follows with a 9. So you've won the first two tricks, and now you need to think about what you're going to play next. And in fact, that is the subject of the next poll. You've just won two tricks with your hearts. What suit do you think you should play at trick 3? Let's have a look at the results. And most people have gone for a club, 69%, with a few people going for a spade or a heart. No one chose a diamond. And let's see if we can figure out this hand. First of all, what do we know about the heart situation? Your partner, if you were paying attention, led the 6 of hearts and followed up with a 9. So that probably means that he doesn't have a doubleton in that suit. If he had a doubleton, 9 and 6, he would lead the 9 first. So he probably started with 3 cards in the suit. Now, if you work it out, that means that Declarer started with only 2 cards in the suit. So there's really no merit at all in playing another heart. Declarer would be able to rough in one hand while he discarded from the other. The other thing, so I'm not going to lead a heart here. The other thing I can see in dummy is that long diamond suit. And I can see that Declarer will probably try to finesse in diamonds. I will be able to win a trick then, but at that point, all his diamonds will be set up. So I think you have a clear lead, which most of you found, of a switch to a club. Because of that long, strong suit in dummy, you need to try to take any tricks that are coming your way in clubs. Otherwise, any club losers that Declarer has might get discarded once he sets up those diamonds. So yes, you should switch to a club at this point. And you're hoping that your partner has some strength in that suit. We lead a club. Declarer plays the ace, which is disappointing, but your partner plays the 8, which looks like a high card. So it looks like he's possibly got some honor in clubs. So anyway, Declarer now draws trumps. He draws one round of trumps, plays a second round, and now he plays diamonds, and he's trying the finesse, but you're able to win that. And of course, you're going to switch back to clubs here. You're going to play a club. Here, your partner has the king, and let's just bring up the 4 hands at this point. And at that point, East-West have taken 4 tricks and have defeated the contract. So after that, Declarer is just going to has bags of tricks in diamonds, but he will have been held to down 1. I think taking 9 tricks there. So if we just rewind the hand, you can see that it was very important for you to size up the situation. Anytime you see a long, strong suit in dummy like that, it's a time when you need to think about grabbing your tricks. And if you hadn't done that, Declarer would have been able to run the diamonds and discard any losers they had. Let's try another one. And this is one sent out in this weekend's quiz. So let's see if we can figure out what to do here. Your partner leads the 7 of spades against 1 no trump. North opened a diamond here. South bid 1 no trump, showing 6 to 9 points. And your partner's led the spade. Now, what do we make of this hand? Well, again, we can see there's a long, strong diamond suit, which could well be a source of tricks for declarer. Although you've got the ace, so you can stop them running away with that once. Um, the other thing to think about is that lead of the seven of spades. If that is your partner's fourth highest, they probably have an honor in that suit, presumably the queen. So unless the ace is played from dummy, you should play the jack on that, and you win that first trick. So you've won the first trick with the jack of spades, and the question is now, what are you going to play? So which suit do you think you're going to play at trick 2? Look at the results. So most of you went for a club here, 54%, with heart being 38%, and a couple of people went for a spade. So let's switch back. Yeah. So let's have a think about this. As I said, that diamond suit is a real threat to you. But you've got the ace, and hopefully you'll be able to prevent Declarer from running those diamonds by taking your ace at the right moment as Declarer plays that suit. But for that to be an effective strategy of stopping Declarer running the diamonds, you have to have taken care of all the entries to the north hand. And you've got the ace of spades, which hopefully will stop the king of spades being an entry. But the other entry Declarer has is the ace of hearts. So yes, at trick 2, I think you should focus on trying to knock out that ace of hearts while you still have the ace of diamonds and the ace of spades. So it would be a very poor choice, by the way, to return a spade here, because it gives a trick to the king of spades, no matter how you play it. And I think you should switch to a heart. By the way, this particular bidding sequence, one diamond, one no trump, that nearly always indicates that South will have quite a good club suit. Because if they had a 4-card major, they should respond one heart or one spade. When they bid one no trump, it should mean they don't have a 4-card major, and more likely their strength is in clubs. So that's another reason not to switch to clubs, but to try to force out the ace of hearts. And you're hoping for a layout something like this. You can see South has got 7 points with quite a nice club suit there. But if you play a heart here, your partner here gives you an encouraging signal. And then if Declarer ducks, you just carry on with another heart, force out the ace. Now, when Declarer now tries to run the diamonds, you're going to pay attention to what your partner plays. They started with 2 cards, and they should play high-low to indicate that they started with an even number of cards, 2 here, 6-2. That means if you work it out that Declarer started with 3 diamonds in their hand, so you duck twice. You don't let them try to prevent them establishing the diamonds. If they play a 3rd diamond, of course, you have to win that. But now Declarer will find it very difficult to get to dummy to cash the last 2 diamonds. What you're going to play now? Well, the hearts seem to be working quite well before. So you take another heart trick, and then your partner perhaps switches back to a spade, traps the king there, so you can win that, play a spade back. And now what happens if they play a club? Well, Declarer can win that, take the ace, but will lose the last trick if you've kept the right thing. And you can hold Declarer to 5 tricks there, down 2 in one no trump. So quite a lot going on there, but that was a lesson in thinking about knocking out the entries so that Declarer doesn't get to run those diamonds. Here's a relatively simple one. When this was played a while ago, I don't think anyone managed to defeat 4 hearts here, but this time it's gone 1 heart, 2 diamonds by your partner, 4 hearts by dummy. And I suppose you pass that. You might have been thinking about bidding 5 diamonds, but you pass. And down comes dummy. Your partner leads the king of diamonds. And I've got a very simple question for you. The 10 of diamonds is going to be played from dummy. And I want you to think about your defense and think about which card are you going to play on the king of diamonds. Have a look at the results. And 72% have gone for the ace, with the rest going for something else. And let's switch back and see what we think. Well, you can see that as a defender, you and your partner are only ever going to make 1 diamond trick because of that singleton. So the question is, should you let your partner retain the lead, or should you take the ace here? And here you should take your ace because you will have an opportunity to lead clubs into dummy's weakness. Now, it may not make a difference on some hands, but if your partner has, maybe the king, but not the ace, it may well be that you can gain an extra trick if you gain the lead here so that you can switch to a club. And of course, you're going to play a club here, switching into dummy's weakness to try to get as many clubs as you can. So yes, you should overtake and then lead the jack here, the top of the sequence. And if I bring up the 4 hands, you can see this is a kind of situation where it will benefit your side if you lead a club rather than declare your partner leading clubs. So declare, let's suppose they win that one with the ace. Your partner signals with the 8 because they're very happy with that lead, and they want to tell you that they're happy with it. Now declarer draws trumps. Suppose he draws trumps. He might ruff some diamonds, but at some point he's going to play a spade. And probably it's a good idea for you to go straight up here with your ace before he can, make any discards on the spades. Take your ace, and then, of course, switch back to clubs. The 10 of clubs perhaps declare as queen, and you're again able to defeat the contract by making 1 more club. After that, declarer will make the rest and will claim 9 tricks here. Just observe that if you leave your partner on lead with the king of diamonds, if he now leads a clubs, it's terrible because he's leading into the strength in dummy. So you had a much better option, which was to overtake so that you can lead into dummy's weakness. Finally, let's have a look at this hand here. And this one is quite challenging. The bidding has gone 1 spade, 2 clubs by you, 2 hearts, 2 spades by south, and north bids 4 spades. And I hope you agree you've got a pretty good opening lead here of the ace of clubs. Before we play it, though, I'd just like to ask you to think about how many points your partner might have here. You've got a pretty strong hand here. So try and work out if your partner's likely to have any high cards. Anyway, we play the ace and we see quite a threatening dummy there. Your partner plays a 3, which is not encouraging, but you carry on with the king. They play the 8, and you've won the first 2 club tricks. Now, I'd like you to think about where you might be able to make any more tricks here. And I've got the next poll for you, which is which suit, this is the last poll, which suit do you think West should play now? Which suit? You've taken two club tricks. Are you going to continue with clubs or switch to another suit? And if so, which one? So here's the last poll of the evening, and it's which suit do you think you should play at trick 3? Look at what you've put. And we've most popular responses are spade, which I have some sympathy with that choice, 43%, followed by hearts, diamonds, and 3 people have continued with clubs. Well, what do we make of this? It doesn't seem like, first of all, the answer to my earlier question about how strong is your partner is that he's in very, very weak, because you started off with the ace, king, queen of clubs, and you've got 2 other kings. So your partner almost certainly has got no high points or virtually no high points. In fact, if you think about it, for you to defeat this contract, you've taken 2 clubs. You're probably not going to make any more clubs because Declarer will be able to ruff, and they might be able to ruff in one hand while they discard in the other. Anytime you lead a suit that's Declarer's void in dummy, it's a risk in leading that suit again. So it looks like we're going to make the spade. You might decide to play a spade, which is a fairly safe play, because by playing a low spade, you'll still make your king. You're not giving up on the king. I'm not going to lead a diamond here because that could easily allow Declarer to make a trick with the queen, and if they've got a doubleton in diamonds, that might be it. It turns out on this hand, and I'll just click on the GIB button, that the winning defense here is to play a heart. Now, normally you wouldn't want to lead a suit where Declarer is so strong in dummy, but if you think about it, Declarer probably doesn't have many hearts in their hand. They probably only got 1 or 2. And if you play hearts now, you're forcing Declarer to into dummy, and he can't really run the hearts until he's drawn trumps. So you're forcing him to play the hearts earlier than he might want to. And so let's suppose he does win the first heart, and he maybe now tries the spade finesse, and it comes back to you again with the king. And again, the winning defense here is to play another heart, force him back into dummy. So he's taking his heart tricks before he has a chance to draw the opponent's trumps. So if I bring up the 4 hands at this point, let's just see what's been going on. And you can see, yes, Declarer now is stuck, and he cannot cash the hearts now because you'll be able to ruff. So let's see what he does. That maybe he'll play the king of hearts. Maybe he's hoping something will happen. You can see that if he didn't ruff, you would be able to ruff. So suppose he ruffs with the 8. You can't do anything about that. But now you've made 3 tricks, and now Declarer won't be able to run the hearts. Those 3 hearts he's got, 8, 7, 4, are all good, but he can't necessarily get to dummy. And in fact, if he tries to now draw the remaining trumps and then play a diamond, maybe hoping to get to dummy, you, of course, will get him with your king here, and that's defeated the contract. So that was a tricky one, and it involved sort of trying to guess, the distribution, and see that by forcing Declarer into dummy to take his heart tricks before he's drawn trumps, you might be causing him a problem there. Anyway, let's end the talk there. Anyone have any questions? We'll start the game in about 10 minutes, so I'll just stop sharing my screen with you. And see you, those of you who are playing, just join the game. And if you need a partner, call me over. So So the rest of you, I'll say good evening to, and
Thank you.
see you all. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.